Chocolate. We've worked with them before. You should be familiar with them already by now. So, check them out, obviously. And yeah, that should be that. Okay, let me get that intro out of the way, like I said. All right. Hey, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. And we are here currently for an exclusive conversation with the one, the only singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, producer. They're a visionary. In my opinion, the creator, the conceiver of one of the best albums of last year, Frailty. Delete Zeke has taken the time to come onto the stream and have this conversation, reached out to do so. I'm excited. You're excited. Let's get the conversation underway. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good, actually. I had no classes today, so I've just been chilling all day.
Good. Awesome. Well, I mean, off the bat, I know it's been a minute since it's been out and since, a bulk of the reception has sort of come through and everything, but how have you been kind of handling the reaction to Frailty and, Teen Week and everything, just kind of the project blowing up in the way that it has?
It's been overwhelming, but in a good way, to be honest. I'm just so happy with how of course I got muted for some reason. Yeah, no, I'm just so happy with the way it was received, to be honest. I didn't expect to get that much what's it called, reception from it.
With your mention of classes, one of the things I wanted to get into is, basically how this may have shifted, I don't know, your plans and your everyday life at the moment. As of right now, what do you currently see as your balance and, your immediate plans into the future when it comes to music and art and also just completing things like school, getting your degree, whatever?
Well, okay. Because here's the thing. A year ago when I was applying to schools, I was not obviously I was not in the position that I am now. Musically, right. I only have 1,000 followers on SoundCloud,
right.
A year or so ago. But I guess now it's different. But so I don't know why I chose to go to a school that was hard to get into, because it's weird because I was a great student in high school, and then first semester of college everything just goes straight out the window. But what's it called? Yeah, I was I kind of want to take some time out of school, or just focus more on music and less on school, because I'm away from my PC and all the stuff that I use to make music that's at home, and I'm not at home. But yeah, I talked to my mom about maybe going to a school closer to home, so that I would have more time to go make music, and it would be go to an easier school, so that it would be an easier balance between the two. And she was okay with it. So I guess for next year, it would just, I guess that's a thing to look forward to. I'd have more time to do music, I guess.
Yeah. You go to school out of state right now?
No, but it's an hour away.
Got it. And what you're studying in school currently, is that completely unrelated to music, art, and Delete Zeke in general?
Yeah, totally. Or at least first semester. I think the closest thing probably is this semester I'm taking this one class called Sound for Picture or something like that. We're learning how to use Logic Pro and Adobe Audition. I mean, I don't use either of those, but it's definitely, it's not as hard as taking a coding class or a writing class.
Got it.
Yeah, for the most part, school and music are two completely different things for me.
Mm-hmm. And, as of right now, as you said, you're trying to find this balance. Are you just having do you feel this pressure to just kind of keep striking while the iron's hot? I know last year, between Teen Week and Frailty, you dropped 2 projects. Are you planning on also having something out in 2022?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Because I thought about it, as soon as Frailty dropped that, I was thinking I'm suffocating my fans with music right now, because especially with all the side projects and everything, that's I released so much music last year. It was kind of, I think, yeah, I'm gonna definitely take a break from main Delete Zeke stuff. for a while. I'm probably gonna drop like a couple songs, 1, 2 songs this year, but like just expect, I guess, like another project like not this year.
Mm-hmm. And currently, like, when it comes to writing more, recording more, like, what is kind of your primary driver at the moment? I mean, you know, you just sort of mentioned like giving your fans maybe too much music. Like, is it some kind of outside force that you feel like is kind of encouraging you to drop more music? Or when you're writing and creating, is it more of just like, I have a fantastic idea in my head and I have to get it down as soon as possible? Or do you just kind of make time for it beforehand to kind of create an experiment, and then, you know, whatever you're writing or coming up with just kind of erupts in that moment?
I think it's kind of just like I make something, I like it, and then I just drop it, which is not, it's not a good like idea. Not like I mean, obviously it's different for everyone, but I think I found that it starts to like bloat my discography when I do that. So I just gotta like maybe not do that. I've been definitely like writing more than I've been recording these past like however many months, but.
No, I mean, yeah. What you're saying there is exactly what I recommend to a lot of people who were previously in the position that you were in before. You know, you sort of saw this blow up, and now that you sort of like have an audience of people out there, you know, kind of digging through your back catalog and waiting with bated breath for something new, do you now feel like, you know, oh, I have to be more careful about what I put out? I just can't like put whatever up onto SoundCloud that I come up with in a moment's notice.
Well, I guess, yeah, but like I guess for uploads on like for like the main like, you know, delete Zeke stuff that like, you know, I usually like consider, oh my god, like I usually just like
take your time.
No, it's what's it called? I mean it definitely like I put more like time into those, and I definitely like it's not like one of those like one try and like it's over thing. It's different for like if I want to make like a little remix or something and I post on an alt account like as soon as I finish it. But like for the, you know, the main like the stuff that I would like want to put on streaming, yeah, I definitely take my time with that.
Do you still run these little alt accounts where you're just like kind of dropping Easter eggs or random whatevers at any given time?
Yeah, no, I actually did that with my main SoundCloud page like earlier in the year, like a month or two ago. I just replaced like a bunch of old files on SoundCloud with like lo-fi guitar stuff that I made like in 20 minutes. Just as like a little like trolling thing.
Okay. No, I mean, got it. I mean, do whatever, honestly. So, you know, this project, I kind of want to move backwards a little bit and talk about, you know, kind of the transition from Teen Week to this new project, because, you know, Teen Week was my first introduction to your music. And, you know, I did get an impression off of it, but like, I'll say just by comparison, like the production and the songwriting and the instrumental layers on Frailty by comparison is just like, it's almost night and day in terms of like the level of detail in a lot of the tracks. And I wanted to know, like, you know, that's I don't know when exactly was like the time frame for Teen Week, you know? So, you know, that's a very short amount of time to evolve so much detail. So, you know, I'm kind of just asking straightforward, like, what was a lot of what went into making such a creative separation between those two projects in such a short amount of time?
Like it look because what's it called? Teen Week was like, I guess like the high school album, I guess, if you want to call it, because like, you know, like because it was recorded like from like early pandemic on to like before it dropped. Like most of that time I was like still, you know, like starting my senior year of high school, like. But I think Frailty, most of that was like I started Frailty like at the end of senior year, and then like the summer I like spent the summer just working on Frailty. So I guess it's like a different perspective where it was like you're still young when Teen Week drops. Well, I mean, I'm still young now, but like, you know, you're still, you know what I mean? Where it's like, where like you're still like in your first like 12 years of like school. You're still like in the first like section of your life, and then like Frailty's like the transition between like childhood and adulthood, basically. I really hope that makes sense. But
No, I mean, it makes sense in sort of the way that you kind of put the time frame. I'll say myself, I'm just like incredibly impressed thinking about how chaotic my own transition from like senior high school to first year of college was, to think during all of that you were also managing this artistic metamorphosis in your own music project as it was blowing up at the same time. Which again, you know, Teen Week was my first introduction to your music, but I know for a fact that's not like when the ball really started to get rolling for you. And you had like a lot of 2020 singles that dropped throughout that year too. Like, what would you say to sort of give perspective, especially for a lot of the younger creators and producers out there who are still yet to kind of get any sort of break at all? Like, when was that first moment when you started to see or started to notice, wow, like, you know, people are like really starting to pay attention to this. It's starting to get like some kind of warm reception. There's a buzz around it. Like, what was that buzz like initially, and where did you start to see it at first?
I think like my earliest uploads on my SoundCloud were like, I used to upload like as much as possible because again, it was like the beginning of the pandemic. Like obviously it wasn't like my first introduction to music. I had like been making music like years prior to the start of the pandemic, but like I started taking music like seriously in the like once the beginning of the pandemic. Like it wasn't because of the pandemic, but I think I just chose like hey, now should be the time I start like, you know, maybe thinking of this as like an option for the future. Because originally I had just thought like, oh, I could just keep this as a hobby and then I can just like go to school for something else. But like, you know, here we are. But what's it called? Yeah, I think to get the ball rolling, I had just kept like uploading whatever. Like I would just upload like once every 2 weeks, maybe even once a week sometimes. And I think I just like garnered a good friend group. You need like, I think for every like artist out there, you need to have a good friend group. And then you also need to like develop your own like sound, I guess, or like develop your own like kind of niche that like separates you from someone else. And then I guess the moment I realized is probably when like, I think it was when probably like as soon as my senior year started and like Fraxium DM'd me one day, like out of the blue. And they were like, I really like your stuff. We should make a song sometime. And I was like, oh my God. Because I only had like 500 followers like on SoundCloud at the time. Like, you know, I had like, you know, I was not like up there. So it was so crazy. That was like my first like big cosign really. Shout out to Fraxium.
Mm-hmm. And then beyond that, would you say a lot of Fraxium's audience was kind of like paying attention to what you were doing?
Yeah. I think when we made that one song, which is it's so funny in retrospect now because like that's like a complete 180 from what I like do now. But
right.
it was just a fun little like silly song that we like decided, you know, because we were like, let's make a song, and then we did, and we just had fun doing it. But you know, I think that was like my like introduction to the whole like music scene thing was like, because I think that's what really like launched me like in there. That was like the push of the snowball down the hill.
You know, talking about what you were saying earlier about like consciously working on a sound, an idea, something that may separate you from other stuff that's out there, your contemporaries. I mean, what would you say are maybe specifically a couple of things in your own opinion that you think about your own music that sounds different from either the music of some artists out there that people might directly compare you to, or just like what's out there generally?
I think that like blending two different sounds together, I find that blending two different sounds together makes like something completely new, or like two different, not like two different genres, maybe like that creates something new, you know? So I guess just not being afraid to experiment really.
You know, how do you feel about the assessments that, that you've invented a new genre here? Is, you know, do you feel like there's any merit to that, or do you feel like that's mostly silliness?
Are you talking about dariacore?
No. I'm not talking about dariacore.
Okay.
No specific genre in general. I'm not.
Okay.
There's not a name for it. I'm just, saying like I've seen a lot of young. I've seen a lot of young people sort of like react to your music and be like, "Whoa, this is like a totally new, different genre or something." But no meme genre. No meme genre.
I can understand on like my main, I guess. Yeah. No, I thought you were talking about something else. My bad. Yeah. No, I guess I don't mind it really. I mean, I am like I'm simultaneously doing what I want to do, but like what I also want to do is just like make something new, I guess. Mm-hmm. Obviously, like even though like the influences are like right there in front of you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to ask you about is sort of like your process, because, something that impresses me about your music is how rich and full and detailed it is. But I mean, to my knowledge, like you're the sole person doing all of it, working through all of it, producing it on your own, recording it on your own. Like, do you ever feel sometimes through your process you're maybe at a loss, maybe due to the inability to bounce certain ideas off of people? Or are there, as you were kind of referring to earlier, like a friend group, do you have people in your personal life who, as you're kind of working through an idea or kind of conceptualizing something, you might throw it their way and just be like, what do you think about this?
Yeah, no, that happens often. Yeah. I mean, it's not like all 13 songs on Frailty were just like, it's not like I made them all chronologically and I was like, okay, the first 13 songs I'm going to make are going to be on this album.
Right.
Like there are definitely like maybe like 5 or 6 songs that I scrapped, or like so many like notes app, like lyrics written that I just never got to. But yeah, like I definitely threw ideas to other people, saw what they thought, and they were like, it was always met with like a good response, but because like in the end, it's kind of like it's what you, like the artists, think in the end is right. But yeah, like a second opinion helps me so much.
Mm-hmm. And you say that you're often met with a lot of positive responses when you do that. When are the moments that you might get, not like criticism in the way that you might get a review, but maybe sort of like an idea offhandedly, like, well, maybe this could sound like this instead, or something? Like, how often do you find yourself adopting those kinds of, I guess, pieces of advice during those conversations?
Not as often, which I think could be because like, I guess it's because when you're asking your friends, like your friends kind of have like a bias towards you.
Sure. So
it's kind of different. Yeah. But I guess that's happened before. Yeah. I'm no stranger to comparison.
Well, I mean, speaking outside of this friend group to a lot of the reviews and criticisms that have been made of the record since it's been released, have you found much of it to be on point, accurate, inaccurate? Was I too harsh? Let me know generally like what you felt like a lot of the reviews.
Oh no, I think you were too nice. Actually, you should have given me like a 5 or a 4.
Yeah, all right. Listen, everybody in chat heard that. So if that happens on the next record, you can't give me shit. No, yes. but again, too nice, too friendly. Okay,
I'm joking.
You're joking. Okay,
I'm joking. No, I agreed with like a lot of what you said. Yeah, but I think in the most part, yeah, what you said, like how the main lacking like factor was the vocals. I totally agree. I honestly wish I had more time to record, but then again, like I did set that deadline for myself to finish it, so it's kind of my fault. But
well, I mean,
it's not going to happen again.
not to create a little voice in your head or anything, but like, considering how versatile and, dynamic your music is so far, do you see yourself into the future with like, next projects, like taking different vocal approaches? Because just to kind of remind everybody, it wasn't so much that the vocals were bad or anything. It just sort of seemed like with there being so much diversity on the record, but maybe a singular vocal approach,
Yeah, there was like little to no range. Well, not like no range, but yeah, I totally get what you're trying to say. Yeah, I'm definitely like open to taking more approaches the next time around. Totally.
And, you know, like there's already so many different sounds and styles, as you say. You know, part of what makes your music stand out so well is like the different genre fusions that you conceptualize. Like, you know, Frailty, there's so much going on creatively and stylistically. Do you have difficulty in your own mind, like trying to conceive of a project in the future that maybe incorporates even more genres or an entirely different set of genres completely?
I don't think I have a hard time like trying to conceptualize it. I guess I just need to like take it one step at a time, to be honest. Like I'd be lying if I didn't said like if I didn't said like I didn't have already ideas for the next LP. But like I think my problem is that I move on from things too quickly. Like when Frailty dropped, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do for the next album? Like I literally just dropped the album. Like why am I thinking about making another one like immediately?
Right.
You know? So I think I just gotta take things like one step at a time, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of the genres that I and many other people who have covered your stuff have kind of picked up in it. You know, be it like various shades of electronic music and bedroom pop and emo and lo-fi and indie, so on and so forth. Like today, and, you know, a little bit younger as well, you know, into your teen years, you know, your musical diet over that course of time, does it represent a lot of the genres? Does it represent a lot of the genres that go into your music? Or, you know, do you often find yourself kind of listening to casually, like totally different styles of music that people might not necessarily assume, you know, given what they hear in your records?
To be honest, I feel like both questions, like I feel like I would answer yes to both questions, to be honest. Cause like I listen to like the same genre that, or like the same genre, like genre, you know what I mean? Like the same like community of like people. I listen to like, you know, I listen to like everyone in my friend group, like that whole scene. And then I also listen to stuff that's like the total opposite. Like I think yesterday, what was I listening to? Like literally I'm pulling up my last FM like right now. Yeah, no, I have like, I was listening to like Lana Del Rey yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget all the Zendaya scrabbles.
How did you know that?
Are you guys going to collab?
She needs to hit me up.
You got to get her on a record.
Make replay too. No, but if we're gonna talk about Zendaya self-titled, you gotta like next year.
I didn't know this was a whole. I didn't know this needed to be an interview sequel. I didn't know this needed to be a whole different interview.
All I'm saying, I'm expecting next year, Classic Week. I'm expecting Zendaya self-titled. I'm expecting it.
Right.
I'll be waiting. I'll be right here.
Okay. Wow.
I won't be right here, but you know, I'll be waiting.
I'm in a way, I'm regretting bringing it up because you just called me the fuck out. Like you called me out hard on it. Okay.
I'm sorry.
You know, I'll think it'll be in my head. It'll be in my head. I swear to you, when next Classic Week comes up, your voice will be there itching at the back of my psyche.
Yeah. I'll be rooting. I'll be rooting for Zendaya.
Right. No, I know there will probably be some kind of bad karma that comes upon me if it doesn't happen. So, you know, we'll see. We'll see. So, you know, you kind of talk about this level of exposure that you got off of the Fraxium collaboration, you know, this small label that you're a part of currently as well. Some of the other creatives who you share your music with, I mean, it sort of contrasts with what you were saying earlier about trying to find ways to make your stuff separate from everything else, stand out from everything else. By that same token, you know, considering like a lot of the current underground music trends, do you see a lot of what you do creatively as like a part of a community too, or maybe some kind of like creative trend at the moment that just sort of happens to coincidentally be, you know, coming up in the same time that you are?
Do you mean like, do I think that I'm like contributing to the community in some way? Or like,
either that, or if there even is a community to begin with, because for a lot of music listeners, it may be just something that maybe appears to be there from the outside, but for those who are actually there creating the music and living it, especially during a time during a pandemic where there isn't really a whole lot of IRL meeting up anyway.
Yeah.
Is that community, is that trend actually existing? Is it actually there? Or is it something that, is maybe more just the illusion of people who are just kind of viewing all of this from the outside?
I think there's a community there, to be honest. I mean, granted, it would definitely be like it would definitely be different if we weren't like in the pandemic, but I definitely like see some sort of community like there, like in that little scene, that little hyperpop bubble you're talking about.
Right. And at this point, like, do you even, I'll ask you this because I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Like at this point, is it even like hyperpop at the moment? Are we kind of like evolving into some sort of like weird post hyperpop space? Like I feel like bigger names that kind of drew attention to it to begin with, like Charlie, are obviously like moving on to different sounds at the moment. And I think Gex is probably going to continue evolving as well, and everybody and anybody else who was kind of like trying to hop on that wave is most likely going to be kind of chasing whatever that turns into over the next 2 to 3 years. So, I feel like what we've known as hyperpop for the past 2 to 3 years is maybe like either going to disappear, not sort of like in a, I guess like it's dead sort of way. I think it's going to disappear in that it's going to kind of change into something else possibly.
Yeah. Because I think that sound that like shaped whatever, like when it was like rising in popularity like 2 years ago, I think that sound is still there. And I definitely do like hear it pretty often, but I don't think it's going to be there for like much longer. I definitely think people are catching on that, like, the whole like hyperpop classification is kind of like, it's changing all the time. So I think people are definitely catching on. Like, I don't think it's going to sound the same forever. Totally.
Right. I wanted to ask you about just kind of like, now that you're shifting into focusing on Delete Zeke a little bit more, trying to find some balance with like schoolwork and stuff like that. Do you see yourself either now or during a time when maybe the pandemic numbers are looking better, like, planning more live events or anything like that? Or
totally. Yeah. I'd love to, like, but only if it's safe though, because I don't want to like, I don't want to put anyone at risk.
Right.
But yeah, totally.
And like, as far as like a potential, Delete Zeke tour might look like, how exactly are you kind of thinking of what the performance might take shape as? Are you like going on stage with some live instrumentation? Would there be other people there? Are you kind of pushing a button? Like, what are you thinking?
I have thought about like different options. I think I definitely want to think about it more when it like ends up being more of a possibility, because right now it's more kind of just an idea that like sits in the back of my mind, because we're still like in a pandemic. But I think definitely when the time comes, I'm going to be considering what is the most like viable option for the Delete Zeke trademark live show. Mm-hmm. So
you spoke earlier about your mom being pretty open to your ideas, and when it comes to making more time for this and kind of balancing that with school, has she been as open to and excited about just like everything else that's kind of come along with gaining a popular following of fans online for your music and just anything else Delete Zeke entails?
I don't think she really gets it, to be honest, but like, she's like, she's old.
Wait. How old is your mom? Not to be like,
she's in like her 50s.
Okay.
No, don't worry.
Okay.
You're in the clear for now.
All right. No, I'm listen, sometimes I've gone to a few shows where like, look, I'll be honest. I saw some moms that were maybe like 5 years north of me. So I'm getting there. So
you're not like that old. You're not like ancient,
I'm pushing 40. I'm getting up there. So, but I appreciate that though. I appreciate you not thinking I'm old. Thank you.
You're not ancient, you know.
I'm not ancient. Not yet.
I'll give you that.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So, do you think that's because like in the online space, I don't know, like it's just harder to conceptualize the many fans that there are kind of listening to your stuff?
So yeah, because it's kind of different to like, I guess it's different to imagine like 100,000 monthly listeners on Spotify if like you don't like see any of them, you know. I guess it's kind of different to imagine that, but you know, I think she's like slowly but surely starting to understand, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But the way she found out was actually, it was pretty funny because the way she found out was not, or it was like me, it was me telling her, but it was because I had to tell her because I was like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, first semester, like I was not doing well at all, like academically. So, you know, I was like getting, you know, I got like confronted about it and I was like, you know, I was like, yeah, I just basically just got like, I basically just told her, like, I had half my brain was there. And I was like, you know, I don't even want to do school. I want to just do music full time. And she was like, you are talking out of your ass. And then I basically just told her, like, because she didn't even know I like made music before. She thought it was just like some kind of like silly hobby. I don't even know if she like has heard my stuff. But yeah, I mean, she seems to be like somewhat supportive of the idea of me pushing this forward and making it into a career. So
her knowledge of it is more of like in the abstract. She hasn't even like heard Frailty yet.
I don't think so. She hasn't talked to me about it.
Got it. And you know, is there any sort of like greater knowledge of what you do, like beyond her and your family?
What do you mean? Sorry.
Oh, I mean, you know, is anybody else in your family like aware of Delete Zeke, or are they like familiar with your music? Have they like, you know, heard it?
At this point, most of my family is, yeah, but most of it was kind of indirectly them finding out rather than me telling them, which is kind of embarrassing when I go to like family reunions. It's always like embarrassing, but it's, you know, it could have been better. It could have been worse, but we're here now. So,
I mean, I think even if it's silent, I think acceptance is, you know, of it is a pretty good thing. I mean, have you seen a warmer reception among maybe sort of like your personal friends who are outside of the music world?
Yeah, I've actually like gotten a few messages from people who went to my high school. Do you know when I got the most messages was when you posted that review and like 4 kids from my hike school were like, dude, what the fuck? You're on Fantano. Like, it's crazy.
That's hilarious.
But, yeah, it wasn't like a big thing in school. Like not many people knew when I was like in school, but I guess like, I think, you know, the people who knew and the people who didn't. So. Got
it. Well, I'm happy to have helped at least in a little bit of a way turn you into a hometown hero.
Yeah.
To dive into the new record a little bit, as I was saying earlier, there are so many tracks on it that instrumentally are so just elaborate and multi-phased in terms of like different sections of songs or genres that you're incorporating. Like what is 1 or 2 tracks on the record that you would say in terms of like the details and the instrumental layers and everything were maybe the toughest to like get or perfect, or you maybe had to constantly come back to them and tweak them over and over and over just to like get it right to where you wanted it to be?
Definitely Your Clothes and Movies for Guys were like, I'd say the hardest to like make instrumentally. Like Movies for Guys was like the first song I started and the last song I finished on the album. Like it was like, obviously I wasn't like working on it every day for 6 months, but like I started it in April, I finished it in October. That's just how it went. But like Your Clothes, I remember that's the song I finished. Like, I think I worked on it more when I was like in school. So I remember I would like every time I would come home, I would like make changes, like make as many changes as possible before I had to go back. And then it was just like that. So I think that's why it took a long time to finish, but it was also just like hard to mix just because it's like it's so loud. It's such a loud song.
Right.
So
you were talking earlier about doing more writing than you are recording, you know, at the moment. When you are doing that, like, you know, considering like the primary mode through which you are like kind of recording and conceiving your music, when you are writing something or getting a rough idea down, do you find that's often happening like, I don't know, you pick up the guitar or you get behind a keyboard and you're just kind of like, you know, coming up with whatever sort of is just coming out of the end of your fingers, or are you kind of just like throwing ideas together in the DAW, you know, and doing it that way?
I think it's a combination of both, to be honest. But I think the way most of my songs, most if not all of my songs go, is that I write before anything else. Like I write first, and then I like have a little like instrumental idea in my head, so I like write it next to the lyrics in like my notes app. And then I kind of just wait until I like think it's right for me to start the song, and then I start the song.
When you're talking about writing, are you talking about just sort of like describing in your own words, like instrumental ideas in words in the notes app, or sort of like in chords or keys or melodies or something?
Yeah, like all that stuff.
Okay.
Usually the lyrics come first. Like I remember for like frailty, like even for the songs on frailty, I remember like it could be an idea that I have like in the middle of class. Like I remember I started writing what's it called? I started writing How to Lie like in the middle of Spanish class one day. I just took out my phone. Like the lyrics always come first before anything, and then I figure out the rest after.
What was the idea or the experience that was kind of stealing your attention in that moment that made you have to write about it?
I think at first I started like zoning out. It was like April. I think I had just gone back from spring break, and I had like the world's like most lethargic spring break like ever. So I think I just wrote it about like how I need to like get my life back together or something like that. But yeah, I think I was just zoning out in like all my classes, and I was like one day I took out my phone and just started like typing lyrics on my phone.
And you know, I as far as like your lyrical process goes, now that you have, I guess, more of a body of work going in, an audience kind of consuming what you do, is there a certain, I guess, verbal voice that you find yourself working through when you're writing as Delete Zeke? Are there certain ways that you say something when you're kind of writing songs in that kind of frame of mind, or certain topics that you'll gravitate to or avoid when, you know, kind of writing in that headspace?
Well, okay. I give Teen Week a pass because, like, in my opinion, I find Teen Week to just be annoying to listen to. Like, it's been
you're your harshest critic.
Hey, okay. No, but yeah, I mean, it's so old at this point. Like, it's been like almost 2 years since I started working on it. Like, I find it like, you know, I find it just so far away. Then I guess so. I give Teen Week like a little bit of credit because it's just like, even if it's cringy, it's kind of just genuine. Mm-hmm. So, but I think on Frailty, I think I, you know, needed to write it from, I think I needed to be honest, but I needed it to like have some sort of flow while also like remembering that like, I'm not like, you know, I'm not trying to be like all sophisticated and like write stuff that's confusing or like put all these metaphors in, but like, I also don't want to just write like the most basic lyrics like ever, because, you know, that would be boring. I think for like stuff that I have like recorded post Frailty, I don't think I've been writing like from a point of view or perspective. I've just been like trying to write about something, and then I guess just tying it to something else, or I'm just been trying to do something new. I've been experimenting. Mm-hmm. So
kind of going back to what you were commenting on in terms of like Teen Week, I mean, nothing about the tracks on the record specifically, but like what sort of expressions or ideas or phrases or topics as a writer do you personally find as like cringe or detestable that you make sure that when you're writing into the future, I want to, you know, keep away from that because I think that's maybe a bad direction to go in.
The way I see it is that I guess Teen Week and Frailty go like hand in hand, where Teen Week is like asking the question why, and Frailty is like giving the answer, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. That's how I see it. Where like, you know, Teen Week asks the question like, oh, like why me? Woe is me, like all that stuff. And then Frailty is like, here is why, like you feel XYZ, and now you have to move on.
And, you know, as considering that's kind of the progression there conceptually, do you see that record as maybe kind of a tougher pill to swallow, something that you give a pass to because maybe you were in sort of like a more negative headspace that now you're out of right now?
Yeah, totally.
Got it.
That's why I give it the credit. But from a completely like biasless point of view, I think it's just not good anymore, to be honest. But it's so old to the point where like I can say it's not good. Like it's so far away, it's so in the past. Like I can say it's not good.
Got it. And you know, again, like the shelf life of the latest record is obviously like still pretty fresh. But even in the months since it's been out, have you felt yourself in any way also having your feelings on Frailty change or evolve in any way, considering how quickly your perspective on Teen Week has changed?
Yeah, I think this could just be me being like too hard on myself, but like I'm already starting to like not like some aspects of Frailty. Especially there's this one meme I saw on Twitter where someone had screenshotted like the opening lines to Kodak Moment because
the opening lyrics.
Yeah. Because you know how it goes like, how does it feel to be in front of the line? And I was like, and then I had annotated it on the bottom and I said, I'm not talking about being the fucking line leader, because I wasn't, but it sounds like it. And then I remember someone like posted that screenshot on Twitter and it got like 400 likes or something. It's a funny inside joke now. But yeah, I think stuff like that, I was like, I could have definitely written that differently. I could have like, or even the instrumentation on some songs like Let's Go Home. I was like, you know, I could have made this a little bit like less chirpy of an instrumental. Like I could have fixed like the outro part, made it a little less like muddy. But again, like I just gotta like remind myself, you know, it's a song.
Well, you know, these nitpicks sort of seem more like, you know, aesthetic issues more than they do sort of like a mindset change, which you were kind of referring to on Teen Week.
Yeah, and I think it's also just a combination of me listening to it so much before it comes out, or like me working on it so much before it comes out. By the time it does come out, I'm like sick of it already. Mm-hmm. I'm just like, here, take the songs.
And, you know, you sort of speak of like this almost interaction that the two records are having. Do you see, you know, right now the latest stuff that you're writing starting a new conversation entirely, or do you feel like there are things from Frailty that were kind of left unsaid or unaddressed that still need to be talked about?
I think, well, because here's the thing, I'm still like young, you know, it's not like, okay, the coming of age era is over. I am no longer talking about
You've come of age. Yeah. It's done.
I've come of age. It's over. Yeah. No, but like, you know, I can't keep making coming of age projects forever. Like Frailty was the coming of age project. Now it's time to do something new. And I might like reference a song here or there in the future, but it's not like I'm not going to repeat ideas, you know. No, I'm actually going to be like 26. I'm going to be on my 10th album talking about like high school. I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm gonna make like Movies for Guys Part 5 on the new album Frailty 2. Like, no.
Honestly, I'm very happy about that, and I'm very encouraged by that. There are songwriters from the 90s who still write like they're in high school, so you know.
Yeah, I mean everyone's different. So.
No, that's true. Not to throw shade at anybody, but I'm glad that your head is in evolutionary space. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, it's definitely something I look forward to start something new. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
In the near distant future, I mean, we kind of joked about the Zendaya thing a little bit earlier, but do you see more collaborations and stuff kind of coming down the pipe, either in the tight knit community of people who you're, talking to on a regular basis, or maybe trying to reach out, beyond that?
I think I don't know, to be honest. Like I think I'm probably gonna keep like my formal releases. I'm probably gonna still keep them solo. But
I mean that's another answer. Like, do you feel like Delete Z conceptually is something difficult to bring other people into?
Yeah, I find that. But I mean, obviously, like I'm totally open to like collaborating with other people. It's not like it's not like it's not like I'll support you, but I'm not gonna work with you. Like, no, it's not like that. I'm totally open to like working with other people. I think just for formal releases, I'm probably gonna stay solo.
Mm-hmm. Got it. And as of right now, like, because of how much I guess like your head seems to be in this mode of like really getting the instrumentals right and being so creative, I guess, stylistically, with different, style genres and sounds kind of being incorporated into your stuff. Like, do you see yourself, or are, on the top of your head, are there different kinds of, I guess, like instrumental palettes or, certain sounds or aesthetics that you'd like to start incorporating in your stuff right now, but you feel like you don't quite have the chops or the ability to do it? It might be something that you see yourself working on soon.
Well, yeah. So in December, I finally got an electric guitar after like so many months of trying to like emulate an electric guitar sound from that like flimsy old acoustic guitar. Because everything on like all the electric guitar sounds on Frailty are from an acoustic guitar.
Oh, and you just distorted it.
Yeah, like
it sounds really convincing. It sounds really convincing, though.
Thank you. Well, I now have an actual electric guitar that I can use, courtesy to my friend Nick. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna implement more guitar stuff. Totally, might go down any direction. Really, I'm thinking making a couple rock songs here and there. You never know.
You're gonna rock it out.
You never know.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it.
I'm entering my rock star era.
You're past the coming of age era. You're already ready to become a boomer and just go full rock star.
Yeah. Next thing you know, I'm gonna start applying for like, what's that like thing old people do? I was about to say Social Security, like
get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah. I'm gonna start like my Las Vegas residency is coming soon.
Right. Exactly. I mean, hey, listen, you're from New Jersey. You have some big shoes to fill over there. Like, you could become the next Bruce Springsteen, right?
Yeah, totally.
The Bruce Springsteen for this generation.
Yeah. No, I'm the next. I'm the singular. I'm solo Bon Jovi. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, look, I appreciate you taking the time and giving us some insight into the new record and having a conversation with me. And I'm really happy with the record. I'm excited about everything that you're telling me. Everybody who came through was really hyped as well. And I mean, again, appreciate you.
I appreciate being on. I appreciate coming on here. Thank you for having me on here. Yeah.
No problem. All right. I mean, just keep us up to date when you have more stuff dropping, and we'll keep an ear out.
Totally.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.